your life essentially today, post-heroic fixture, is motivational, consulting, giving people the benefit of your own experience about leadership, about the world you know.
And about the need for that, and the fact that so much of what I've spent my whole life perfecting and that I proved in the most dramatic way possible really works in real life under the most extreme conditions, is something that can be made applicable to almost every domain, every industry. Absolutely. Where it's medicine or nuclear power or financial risk management.
And that is what? What are those things?
Leadership according to core values, right. Building an effective culture, doing things for the right reasons, not for your own enrichment, but for the greater good. Having moral courage to act against your immediate self-interest for the long term, because in the long term, it will pay off.
Are those things you can learn?
I sure hope so. Yeah. I think I did.
Yeah, but some people instinctively
I got it from my grandparents, my parents, from
right.
people I admired and respected throughout my life. I saw, just like you, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've seen what worked and what didn't, and I've tried to learn from and emulate those who made even the most difficult things look easy.
Speaking of that, someone once defined courage as grace under pressure. May have been Hemingway. Do you define what you did as courageous or simply duty?
Can't it be both?
It can. Why is it courageous?
My favorite definition of courage is not the absence of fear, but it's doing what you need to do in spite of it. It's controlling it, and it's doing your best even though it's startling and disturbing and difficult.
And that's what you meant by, in a sense, at the moment that the birds hit and you lost your thrust, I mean, you had to be in control of yourself.
Yes, first I had to force calm on myself.
Yeah.
And then we had to force order on what might have been chaos by quickly synthesizing a lifetime of training and experience and imposing that paradigm on this situation to then make it one I could solve, to set clear priorities in an unanticipated event for which we'd never specifically trained.
But in a sense you had trained, because it is about leadership, it is about being able to react to danger, it is about all those things that a good pilot has to prepare. And you not only were a commercial pilot, you were an Air Force pilot.
Well, if you do what I think the best have always done, the pilots with whom I have flown that I thought were the best were the ones who did two things. They cared a lot and they paid attention. In other words, they had a deeply internalized sense of professional responsibility, and they knew that they needed to make each flight a learning opportunity and make the next flight better than the previous one.
But in the moment, you can't be thinking about them, can you? I mean, you have to think about what I had
to already have thought about that. I had to have brought into
that
values
and
cockpit
the skills.
Everyone I'd ever flown with, every person who'd ever shaped me, and not think about those in terms of conscious thoughts, but have it immediately accessible in the back of my mind. So even in those 208 seconds, I could use those experiences to help frame this problem, to frame this decision-making process.
What did Clint Eastwood either want to know or want to tell you?
I think when he came to our home and met Lori and me in our natural environment, he was trying to get the measure of us. He wanted to see what makes us tick.
Yeah.
I think he also wanted to reassure us.
That he would?
Take good care of us. I mean...
He would tell a true story.
Yeah, I mean, when someone gives the right to tell their life story to someone else, you're handing them the keys, yes, and you're watching them drive away with it. It's a huge leap of faith. But I think in this case it was rewarded. When I see that portrayal on the screen, it not only looks real and sounds real, it feels real.
When you watched the film for the first time you saw it?
Well, the first time I saw it privately with my family, my wife and two adult daughters, at the studio in Burbank at the end of July. And it was a very emotional, very moving experience for us. that we really couldn't put into words immediately.
So Eastwood and Hanks got it, as far as you see, as good as Hollywood can do to reflect the moment and the personality, they captured it.
And the emotion. And what I really wanted this film to have was a real undercurrent of the importance of our common humanity. And I think it's there.
How so?
This is about a group of people at a time in the world's history when it seemed as if everything was going wrong during the 08-09 financial meltdown. It seemed like no one could do anything right. I think some people had begun to doubt human nature, wondering if it was really mostly about self-interest and greed. And this group of people who didn't know each other came together in this place, in this time, and made it their mission in life to see that every life was saved. That's what I mean. And that
that's the largest story.
When we work together, there's little we cannot accomplish.
That's the largest story.
For me, it is.